Good morning, St. John's. Good morning, Miranda.
Good morning, Jay.
Good morning, good
St.
morning.
John's.
Happy Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Have you been, Labor Day weekend is one of those things that it's a weekend off, but people do stuff around the house.
Like I was just telling you, my parents came to visit me and we did 3.5 hours of yard work. It was labor.
That's a lot. But it was, the weather was awesome yesterday.
It felt hot, but I knew I was getting a break.
No doubt about that.
So.
Yeah, we were doing the same thing around our house. So anyway, happy Labor Day weekend. It's good to see each of you here today. I am Jay. This is Miranda. And this is one of those weekends that sort of in the cultural calendar, right? This is a turning point. This is the end of summer.
End of summer. You'll see lots of seersucker at church today.
You'll see some
right?
seersucker. Yeah. Actually, we came through and there were a couple parishioners who were here already who were, suited up, saying this is the last weekend to wear the seersucker. You can see Miranda and I, pretty unseasonable but classic in our garb on Labor Day weekend. So one of the things that I wanted to talk about just briefly with you all this morning, where do we see ideas of rest and labor in the Bible, right? I mean, that's the core foundation of who we are. That's our story.
Ooh, I have a good one.
Where?
And it's different than what I think your example is.
Okay, yeah, perfect. Let's hear it.
That difficult, I just preached on it, the Syrophoenician woman, or the Canaanite woman, as it's called in Matthew. But in Luke, is that right? Anyway, Jesus is getting away for some rest when she barges in on him. And this is the woman he calls a dog. And he has been getting across the sea, he's been traveling, and he's taking a rest. And sometimes I wonder, was that part of, first of all, we see him taking a rest, good. Right. And then I wonder if that was part of him clapping back at her. So
because he's tired from the travel and from the work, you think?
Yeah, and the time for rest and Sabbath needs to be respected.
Man, absolutely right.
So that's one of my first thoughts, just because I thought about it so recently with our gospel reading.
Well, that's spot on, actually, and I'm thinking through what you and I have been preaching on through the summer, and there have been a series of moments where that very thing happens, right? Like when Jesus feeds the 5,000, he's going out to a deserted place to rest, and he gets there, right? He's thinking, this is the time I can finally get away. There's not going to be anybody around, no obligation, and he shows up, and there are 5,000 men with no telling how many women and children there as well. That's the way they counted numbers, not the way you and I would count numbers, of course. And so that rest, which is so very important. He's pressed into action again. Sometimes life will do that. So that's a wonderful example, and not necessarily the one that I thought of, but certainly one that is directly related. Thinking on Labor Day weekend about work and labor and rest, I thought about the story of creation, right? And Genesis, when God makes, there are two different creation accounts. They emphasize different notes, right? Both end on the seventh day with what? God rests. In other words, rest from labor is built into creation itself. And that's something, you talk about needing to protect, right? And really honor that idea of resting from your labor. God himself, when he built all of this, built it into creation. And it's something that is hard to do, but essential.
And Jewish rabbis have a saying, he or she who keeps the Sabbath will keep all of the commandments.
Fascinating.
There's something
I've never heard
about
that.
Rest that recharges our spiritual life,
Yeah.
and every other aspect. But when you take the time to be quiet and still...
Why is that so simple, and yet you say it and you kind of go, oh yeah, right? Yeah.
It's something in us resists doing it. I don't know what
well,
it is.
Look, it is easier. It is easier, I think, to do something. If you are alone with your thoughts and God, and a journal, or if you whatever, it's so much easier to say, I should be I should be doing something.
There's a
right?
lot of vulnerability in being, which is a little bit of what my sermon is about today.
Well, how about that?
In relationships.
Segue. Solid. Wasn't even planned. You probably planned it.
Man.
It worked out. So just something to think about. And look, one of the most helpful things that I've ever heard, you were set to go to Credo in the spring, and it was postponed, not canceled,
until
right?
the fall, and it's been canceled for the fall.
Okay. So at some point you will go. Credo is this wellness program for clergy, and Mother Miranda, being a new clergy, she's been asked to go, and it's going to be great. I did it when I was at St. John's the first time. And speaking of rest, someone, maybe the most helpful image I've ever heard to think about, taking that time away, right? Taking that time to not do, but just to be, and how very important that is. Someone said to me, if you're writing on a page, you have to leave margin on the edge of the pages in order to make sense of what is actually written on the page, right? If you are writing and stopping a couple of letters into a word on the page, it becomes very muddled very quickly, which I think is certainly the peril that we face if we don't leave room. It's built into creation itself. So we're here on the Sabbath day to offer our thanks and praise in person or online. So I hope this finds you well wherever you may be. Hopefully you are resting today, and we are about to get it kicked back up into gear. Right, this is the final Sunday before we move back into fall life at St. John's. It'll start even this week with Constance and her companions, the observance of those dear saints right here from our own city. Wednesday night, next Sunday, we're doing a fall kickoff with lots of different offerings. Hey, there you go.
I'm going to put this little teaser out here. These are some really cool stickers.
Take it a bit closer so we can get a good shot of that. There you go. Perfect.
Yeah. And also with
it's as big as my
St.
chest.
John's, Memphis, Tennessee. These are stickers. These are for backpacks or my work thing I carry around more than a backpack is this laptop. And I put the sticker on my laptop. I hope you all put them on.
You should carry a
bottles.
backpack.
Really? I carry a tote.
Okay.
But I don't want to put a sticker on my tote.
Do you have your high school backpack floating around somewhere?
I do. My JanSport.
Exactly right. What color was it?
Purple.
Purple.
I wanted a pink one, but then I wanted to go to college at UCA, Central Arkansas.
That's right.
Bears.
Home of the Bears.
That's right.
Right.
The Bears.
I know that because I watched. I'm getting off track.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I know.
Yeah. Okay.
But
go
we
ahead.
have a lot of fun stuff coming up next week to kick off the fall.
Yeah.
We're gonna bring your backpacks, totes.
Yeah,
whatever.
exactly right. That's what we were going at. Yeah. Bring your bag, bring your tote, bring your tablet. The camera that we've been filming on is filmed.
We should put one on the Mevo here.
I agree, or maybe right here on the back of this big. Yeah. So anyway, hope you guys have a good Sunday. Catch a cup of coffee. One of the things that we posted yesterday, you will see there are readings. The entire service leaflet is posted. If you're watching this online, it should be just, I think, immediately below this posting. And I would ask you to take a moment as you are centering, as you are maybe even waking up, wherever you might be. Take a look at that. Read those lessons. I can't tell you how many times, as a person who has heard many sermons, someone stands up to read. They say the word of the Lord. We say thanks be to God, and we sit down and we go, I don't have a frame of reference by which to even make sense of what I just heard, right? If we're going to affirm it as the Word of God, because it is, take a few minutes here this morning and read it so that when you hear it in worship in just a few minutes, it's not the first time you've encountered it, because it is more likely, it's the image of the Gospels. It's the pearl of great price. You got to work at it to be able to really glean what is, I think, relevant and very life-giving.
Just like you have to work in relationships, like we'll talk about today.
There you go. I'm glad you're preaching because I just had my sermon. Apparently, I was chatting it up. So
read those readings though.
Yeah, check them out.
Share your thoughts.
Right. What else good? Anything else we want to talk about?
We have what else? I feel like next week at the fall kickoff, we're going to start Sunday school. This is actually our last of these live Mevo.
Correct.
And we're going to be having Sunday school around 9. You can get on and join us, hang
Right.
out, have your coffee. We'll start
Absolutely.
class at 9:15.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we
yeah.
won't be doing these regular check-ins on Sunday morning. So check in with us on Zoom. We're going
Right.
to send that link out.
Yep, Zoom, link and password to follow. You will hopefully see the and all the different things that have been mailed out, what that's going to look like. We are going to do two things really primarily. Our focus in the coming months in the fall is to offer an online Zoom class at 9:15 on Sunday morning. And we're going to go in small blocks of material, because one of the things that Miranda, who's done a lot of work with the Christian Formation Committee, one of the things that I think you have heard, and I've certainly experienced myself, life is complex and moving fast, and people need to be able to kind of hop in and out as their schedule allows. So we're going to go 4 weeks at a time. The first class that we're going to actually spend time talking about is actually the front door of the faith, right? Say a bit more about that. It's a class that we're calling Crossing the Threshold. And we're going to talk about how baptism is the front door of the church, and those 3 promises that we make, or we make on behalf of a young person when they are
The affirmations. Yep.
Yep. The three affirmations and the 3.
There you go. Renunciations. Yes.
Renunciations. Right. Perfect. That's where we've been kind of mulling around. So, what does it mean when we say that we promise to respect the dignity of every human being, right? What does it mean when we promise to seek justice and righteousness, right? These are things that we're probably thinking a lot about right now, and not ideas that are foreign to the church. So
so we're going to delve into the Old Testament, and we're going to delve into the New Testament and see where these ideas come from.
Yep.
Because we believe our faith is founded upon them, the things we promise in baptism. So
that's it.
Let's see what the Bible and our theology and our prayer book have to say about it.
Bingo. So we'll do that.
It's going to be a good class.
We're also, Miranda and I think, are always reading different books. And one of the things, if you want maybe more of a deep dive, I think it's fair to say more of a kind of conversationalist approach on Wednesday nights. We're going to do, think about it on Sunday, maybe anticipate more of a lecture style format, and on Wednesday more of a conversation. Imagine sitting around a digital kitchen table with friends talking about books and ideas, something that I think we all enjoy here. The first book we're going to look at is a book by N.T. Wright, the former Bishop of Durham, called God and the Pandemic. We're going to talk about, how do we make sense of all this, right? The global pandemic that is unfolding in our midst, that doesn't mean that God no longer exists or God is absent. We just have to be thinking about those things. So 4 weeks with that book. We just had somebody pop up in one of the comments and said that they're going to miss these check-ins. Well, I hear you. And go ahead.
But we will keep doing them on Wednesdays.
Right.
We will.
Right.
And we'll make those longer, and we'll attach some prayers to that. And maybe we'll see how that happens. We'll probably sit kind of in an informal setting, or maybe in the chapel, and do those prayers, but conversation before and after.
Yeah. It's been really eye-opening, I think, to hear. Morning, Ann. It's really interesting to hear from so many of you who have said how much this is meant to them. So we will continue to do something like this on Wednesdays. We'll also live stream noonday prayer at 12:10. But Mother Miranda and I have been talking about ideas to ways to stay connected. And so we'll do some of that on Wednesday. It'll be live. It'll be filmed, and then let's see what else comes of it. I think we're open to the leading of the Spirit. So let's see what we can figure out. All right, so that's a pretty good little rundown on where things lie. Nothing else for the good of the order, I suppose. Take a moment. I hope you have a wonderful Sabbath day, a day of rest. Have a nice
Labor Day weekend.
Finish my thought. Finish my sentence. Maybe is a better thing to say. Right. So good seeing you. Good seeing you guys. Happy Sunday. We'll see you at 10:30. Thanks.